Welcome to the Deep Dive, brought to you by the Moore's Global Finance Podcast team. I'm John, and with me today is Tiffany, our expert in precious metals. Today we're going deep on gold IRAs, specifically comparing two popular companies, Goldco and Birch Gold Group. If you're thinking of adding this type of investment to your portfolio, we're here to break down which one might be right for you.
You know, it's smart to be considering gold, especially with how the economy is these days. For centuries, people have turned to gold as kind of a safe haven, and there's a good reason. It tends to hold its value even when other markets are, well, shaky.
Makes sense. So let's jump into Goldco first. Founded back in 2006 by Trevor Gerst, they've really made a name for themselves in the gold IRA world, and they've got some big names backing them. Endorsements from people like Sean Hannity and Chuck Norris. Can't argue with Chuck Norris, right?
Haha, true. But celebrity endorsements aside, what really makes Goldco stand out is how they treat their customers. They've got this personalized approach, with dedicated account reps who walk you through the whole process. Plus, they offer a bunch of ways to stay in touch, whether it's phone, email, or even online chat. They really seem to make their clients feel comfortable and in the loop.
And it seems to be working. They've got a ton of awards and recognition over the years, like an A rating from the Better Business Bureau and a AAA rating for the Business Consumer Alliance. That's not just for show, it means they're doing things right.
Absolutely. And they've got thousands of five-star customer reviews. That kind of consistent positive feedback really says something. It shows they're not just about flashy marketing, they're actually providing a great experience for their clients.
All right, so on the other side, we have Birch Gold Group, founded in 2003, led by CEO Laith Al-Saraf. They've also got those high ratings with the Better Business Bureau. So clearly, they care about keeping their customers happy too.
Yeah, and what I find interesting about Birch Gold Group is their focus on education. They really want their clients to understand the whole precious metals thing. It's not just about selling you something. They want to empower you to make smart decisions about your money. They have tons of resources available, and they really push that personalized planning approach.
And they've got some clout themselves. Ben Shapiro endorses them, which definitely adds some credibility for some investors. Plus, they've been featured in big financial publications. It shows they're a serious player in the industry.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, look, we're not some small-time operation. We're here to stay, and we know what we're doing. That's something any investor can appreciate.
Definitely. Now, when it comes to the actual services they offer, there's a lot of overlap between Goldco and Birch Gold Group. They both have the core stuff you'd expect. Gold and silver IRAs, buyback programs if you want to sell your metals later, and of course, access to expert advice.
But there's one key difference. Birch Gold Group actually offers more variety. Besides gold and silver, they also have platinum and palladium. So if someone wants a really diverse precious metals portfolio, that might appeal to them.
It's like they're saying, hey, we get it. Everyone's got different goals. We're giving you more choices.
Exactly. And speaking of choices, let's talk about a big one, the fees.
Yeah, that's important. So with Goldco, you've got a $50 account opening fee, a $125 annual fee, and then either a $100 or $150 annual fee for storage. It depends if you want shared or segregated storage. Segregated means your gold is kept totally separate, which some people like.
Right. Now, Goldco's minimum investment is $25,000 to get started. So if you just invest that minimum, you're looking at about 0.9% in fees each year. But if you invest more, say $100,000, then that percentage goes down to 0.23%.
Okay, so how does Birch Gold Group compare?
Well, their minimum is a bit lower, only $10,000. They also have a $50 account opening fee, but then there's a $30 wire fee on top of that. Then it's $100 annually for storage and insurance, and another $100 for management, so it comes out to a flat $200 each year, no matter how much you invest.
Interesting. But wait, there's more. Birch Gold Group waives all those first-year fees if you invest over $50,000. That's a pretty good deal.
Definitely something to consider. But fees are just one piece of the puzzle. Let's see what people are actually saying about these companies.
Right. We've got a whole table here comparing their ratings from the Better Business Bureau, TrustLink, Trustpilot, Consumer Affairs, even Google reviews. What jumps out at you?
Well, both companies are doing something right. They've got consistently high ratings across all these platforms. But it's interesting that Goldco consistently has more reviews, and their scores are a bit higher, too. That could mean they have higher customer satisfaction overall.
Yeah, but we have to remember these are just averages. Everyone's experience is going to be different.
Of course. But looking at this data, I'd say both companies are worth checking out. They both seem dedicated to giving their clients a good experience, which is huge when you're talking about your retirement savings.
For sure. So let's talk more about that customer service experience. With Goldco, they really push that personalized touch, dedicated account reps, multiple ways to communicate, regular updates on the market. It's like having a guide through the whole precious metals world.
Yeah, they really want to hold your hand through the process. Now, Birch Gold Group is a bit different. They're all about transparency and education. They want to give you the knowledge so you can make your own decisions.
It's like that saying, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Exactly. They want you to understand why you're making these choices, not just blindly following someone's recommendations. They offer personalized planning sessions, access to a whole team of experts, and they're really good at resolving any problems quickly.
So it comes down to what kind of experience you want, right? Do you want that hand-holding guidance from Goldco? Or the empowering education of Birch Gold Group?
It's really about your personality and what you're looking for. Some people need that one-on-one support. Others prefer to be more in control. There's no right or wrong answer.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. The background of these companies, their services, their fees, even how they approach customer service. But before we go any further, let's quickly sum up the main pros and cons of each.
Good idea. Let's start with Goldco. Their strengths are definitely their reputation, their expertise, and that top-notch customer service. They've got a proven track record, a whole team of specialists, and their buyback program gives you some flexibility.
But their product selection is a bit limited compared to some others, and that $25,000 minimum might be tough for some people. Their fees are clear, but maybe not the most competitive.
Right. Now, Birch Gold Group, they've got great credibility, and they're really committed to educating their clients. They offer personalized service, a good variety of metals, and they've got a strong online presence.
Yeah, but some reviewers have said their fee structure isn't always clear up front. And there's been some reports of them pushing people to invest more.
Right, and some people might find their costs a bit higher than others.
So as you can see, both companies have their pluses and minuses. The best one for you really depends on what you need and what you're comfortable with.
Exactly. What are your priorities? What's your risk tolerance? These are all things to think about.
That's a great point to ponder. Because up next, we're going even deeper. We'll be looking at the potential benefits and risks of precious metals in general. And we'll touch on those broader economic factors that might be driving people toward this type of investment. So stick with us.
Okay, so we've been focusing on Goldco and Birch Gold Group, but let's zoom out for a sec and think about the big picture. Why are precious metals like, gold and silver considered good investments? Especially for retirement.
Yeah, good point. It's easy to get lost in the details of specific companies. But we need to understand why this whole type of investment is attractive in the first place.
Right, exactly. One of the main reasons people invest in precious metals is to protect themselves against inflation. See, when inflation goes up, the value of your money goes down. What you could buy for $100 last year might cost you like $105 or more this year. Your money is literally shrinking.
And that's where gold and silver come in. They've historically held their value pretty well, even when the dollar is losing its purchasing power. Like back in the 70s when inflation was crazy high, gold prices actually shot up. They did way better than things like stocks and bonds.
It's like having an anchor in a storm, When things get rough financially, gold can help keep your portfolio steady. But of course, no investment is completely risk-free, and that includes precious metals.
True. It's important to remember. Gold and silver don't generate income like some other investments. You don't get dividends or interest payments. They're more about preserving your wealth and growing it.
Exactly. Think of it this way. A stock is like owning a piece of a company that's hopefully doing well. A bond is like a loan that pays you interest. But gold and silver are commodities. Their value is based on supply and demand, global events, even just how people are feeling about them.
So their price can go up and down just like anything else. There's no guarantee you'll make money. You could even lose money if you're not careful.
That's why it's super important to do your research, understand the risks, and think about your own goals and how long you plan to invest. Precious metals can be a good part of a diversified portfolio, but they're not some magic solution.
All right, so we've talked about inflation protection. But are there certain types of investors who might benefit more from a gold or silver IRA?
That's a good question. I think anyone who's really worried about inflation eating away at their savings might want to consider precious metals, especially people nearing retirement. They're probably concerned about maintaining their buying power in their golden years, right?
Makes sense. And what about people who want to diversify their portfolio beyond stocks and bonds? Could gold and silver be a good way to spread out their risk?
Absolutely. It's like adding another layer of protection.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as they say.
Exactly. But, like we've been saying, it's important to weigh the pros and cons. Think about your own situation. Maybe even talk to a financial advisor before making any big decisions.
Yeah, don't jump into a gold IRA just because you saw a commercial about it.
Hmm.
Do your homework, understand the risks, and make sure it fits into your overall financial plan.
Now let's switch gears a bit and talk about storage. When you invest in a gold IRA, you don't actually get the physical gold bars or coins. They're kept safe in a special depository.
Right, and this is where things can get a little tricky. There are different types of storage options, each with its own pros and cons. Like Goldco offers both shared and segregated storage.
Yeah, shared storage means your gold is stored with other people's gold. It's usually cheaper. But some people prefer segregated storage, where their gold is kept completely separate. It gives them more peace of mind, but it costs more.
So that's something to think about when you're comparing companies. Not all of them offer both options, and the fees can be different.
And you want to make sure that the depository itself is legit. You want to know your investment is protected from theft, damage, all that stuff. Look for depositories that are insured and have a good track record.
Oh, and speaking of getting your gold back, what about buyback programs? What happens if you decide you want to sell your gold?
Good question. Both Goldco and Birch Gold Group have buyback programs. Basically, they'll buy back the gold you bought from them at the current market price. It gives you some flexibility if you need access to your money later on.
Like an exit strategy.
Exactly. But again, make sure you understand the terms of the buyback program before you invest. Some companies might charge fees or have certain rules about selling your gold.
Okay, so before we move on, I want to remind everyone that this is a deep dive, not a quick overview. We're trying to give you a lot of information,
Yeah,
but there's always more to learn.
that's right. Do your own research, consider your options before you make any investment decisions. We're here to help you understand gold IRAs, but ultimately the choice is yours.
Absolutely. And we'll be right here to guide you through the rest of this journey. Coming up next, we're going to take a close look at those customer reviews for Goldco and Birch Gold Group. We'll even give you some tips on how to really understand those reviews and get the most valuable insights. So stay tuned. Okay, so we've talked about all the ins and outs of Goldco and Birch Gold Group, explored the potential benefits and risks of investing in precious metals, and we even got into the nitty-gritty of storage options and buyback programs. But now, let's hear from the people who matter most, the customers. Let's see what they're saying about their experiences.
This is where it gets real, right? Reading those customer reviews can give you a much better sense of what it's like to actually work with these companies. You see the good, the bad, and everything in between.
Exactly. It's like peeking behind the curtain. We've got a ton of customer reviews for both Goldco and Birch Gold Group from a variety of sources, like the Better Business Bureau, TrustLink, Trustpilot, Consumer Affairs, even Google reviews.
And as we mentioned before, both companies have really good ratings overall, but let's dive in and see what we can learn.
Okay, so starting with Goldco, one thing that really jumps out is the praise for their customer service. People consistently mention how helpful, knowledgeable, and responsive their account reps are.
Yeah, I saw that too. It seems like they go above and beyond to make their clients feel valued and supported.
For sure, that kind of personalized attention can be huge, especially when you're talking about your retirement savings. Another common thing is how easy they make the rollover process. People say it's super smooth to transfer funds from their old retirement account into a gold IRA.
That's a big plus. Transferring retirement funds can be a real hassle sometimes. It's good to know they've made it as painless as possible.
Right. All right, now let's switch over to Birch Gold Group. What are people saying about them?
Well, one thing that comes up a lot is their focus on education. People really appreciate how Birch Gold Group takes the time to explain things clearly. They don't just bombard you with jargon. They want you to understand what you're getting into.
Yeah, I like that. Informed investors are better investors.
Exactly. And a lot of reviewers were impressed with the expertise of the Birch Gold Group team. They felt confident they were getting good advice.
Makes sense. So it's not just about the products, it's about the knowledge and guidance too. Now, another positive theme is the transparency of their fee structure.
Yes, many reviewers specifically mentioned that. They appreciated how upfront Birch Gold Group was about costs. No hidden surprises.
That's so important because those fees can really add up over time. It's good to know they're not trying to sneak anything past you.
Right. Now, of course, no company is perfect. Even with all the glowing reviews, you'll always find a few negative comments.
That's true. So what are some of the downsides people mentioned?
Well, for Goldco, some people found that $25,000 minimum investment a bit steep.
Yeah, I could see that.
Hmm.
Not everyone has that much cash just sitting around.
And their fees might not be the best deal for smaller investors.
True. What about Birch Gold Group?
Some reviewers felt a bit pressured to invest more than they were comfortable with.
Oh, that's not good. You never want to feel pushed into anything when it comes to your money.
Exactly. And that's why reading these reviews is so helpful. You start to see patterns and red flags.
Absolutely. Customer reviews can be a powerful tool for due diligence. They can help you get a real sense of a company's strengths and weaknesses.
And don't just focus on the star ratings. Read the actual comments. Look for details that resonate with you.
All right, so we've gone deep on Goldco and Birch Gold Group, explored the world of precious metals, and even dug into what customers are saying. But the big question is, which one is right for you?
Well, like we've been saying, there's no single right answer. It all comes down to your individual needs and preferences.
Exactly. If you want that personal touch and a lot of guidance, Goldco might be a good fit. But if you're more independent and value education and transparency, then Birch Gold Group could be a better choice.
And don't forget about those practical factors. Minimum investments, fees, storage options, buyback programs, all those things matter.
So take your time, do your research, and choose a provider that aligns with your goals.
Investing is a long game. It's about making smart decisions for your future.
And if you're still feeling lost, talk to a financial advisor. They can help you figure out what's best for your specific situation.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into gold IRAs.
We hope you learned a lot and feel more confident about making the right choice for your retirement savings. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you know, the better you'll be able to navigate the complex world of finance and secure your financial future.